All right, everybody. Good afternoon. It's the Fantasy Sports Boss. An unscheduled, unplanned stream for Friday for Football Friday. You know, I always try to do the Football Friday stream, which is the most important one of the week as we get ready to set our lineups for Fantasy Football Week 3. But that's why I know I said earlier this morning, the wrap up, ready to chat with you guys for however long I can. So that's why it's always important to have that notification button hit. So that way, when, unscheduled streams like this one take place, you're made aware. So also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, as far as today is concerned, going to go over the injury report. Going to, obviously detail everything that has gone on here for week 3. Jamal Williams has just been ruled out for the New Orleans Saints. If you don't see me right now, it's just because I'm sharing out the stream. I should have done that before I came on. I'm sharing it out on Twitter. So that just came down just now. Jamal Williams is officially out. So, we have Kendre Miller perhaps, gaining some, value this week as the rookie running back should be set to make his debut for the New Orleans Saints. And, obviously we're watching some other situations. The big one for me, at least in my own personal matchups, is Jalen Waddle. Has not clear concussion protocol yet. And there we go. I'm done with that. He has not clear concussion protocol yet, talking about Jalen Waddle. So he's still, up in the air. Yes. Surprise stream. Like I said, I don't ever want to promise and then not deliver. I'd rather do an impromptu stream than anything because I wasn't sure. I have my game today. I'm dressed up for the game later on today. Trying to get a jolt of coffee too in before I have to get to the field. But Football Friday streams are always important. So I wanted to get on and discuss the injury report and everything else that goes on today. Now, last night, obviously I talked about it earlier today. Deebo Samuel and George Kittle absolutely balled out as we expected with no Brandon Ayuk in the game. The Giants offense is completely broken right now. Anybody who invested in Darren Waller, as I did in both of my leagues, certainly it's very disappointing. Now they have the Seahawks next week. That's a good matchup for Darren Waller. So if you're Darren Waller owner, I still have faith in the guy. I think he's going to be fine. Listen, this beginning of the season was very rough for the Giants. I mean, let's face it. They had, two of the best teams in the NFL in the first 3 weeks. So, I'm not totally surprised by their struggles there. The offensive line is a mess. That's been the root of their the main root of their problems offensively. But again, Darren Waller owners, I think it's going to be okay. So Polemski, I coach high school football. I'm a receivers coach. My kids don't play football yet; they're still too little. But I'll be, I coach wide receivers for a varsity high school team. Thinking about streaming Baker Mayfield over Fields and Love. Not an easy matchup. I wouldn't do that. That's a little bit of a rough matchup. Going against that Eagles secondary. Start Josh Kelly or Pacheco. Listen, Josh Kelly's got a great matchup. Pacheco's banged up. So I say Kelly would be the one that I would reflexively lean toward because, again, he's got a really good matchup. Tampa is sneaky good. So, yes. So I traded Garrett Wilson today during my lunch period at school. So I wanted to get out from underneath Garrett Wilson. I found the Jets owner. Now I'm in New York. So my friends and family league where I own Garrett Wilson, I found there's a couple of Jet fans in the league. So I went to one of the Jet fans in the league, and I proposed him. I offered Garrett Wilson and I don't even remember who the other guy offered him. Oh, Kenneth Gainwell for his Mike Evans and Antonio Gibson. That was the original offer that I made him. So that was quickly rejected. He comes back to me after that was rejected, and then he's now asking for Cam Akers with Garrett Wilson, and he offers me Mike Williams and Isaiah Pacheco, and I accepted it right on the spot. So I'm not a big Mike Williams fan. I mean, he's always hurt, very up and down. But compared to Garrett Wilson, and especially this week, they're taking on the Vikings, I'm happy with the deal. Now, Isaiah Pacheco, I'm not really a fan of his either, but I am in a major bind at running back. I have Gainwell, but I know he's coming back this week, but he's going to be in a 50-50 share. I have David Montgomery, who's out. I had Cam Akers, who's really not for this week, and I see what he's doing. He's seeing later in the season that Cam Akers is probably going to be the starting running back for the Vikings, which I believe he will be. And he's a Jet fan, so he wanted Garrett Wilson. So that's how the deal came together. So I'm pretty happy with it. He had Travis Kelce as well, so he didn't want to have Pacheco. And that, so now Pacheco is going to be my running back 2 this week. So I got out from under Garrett Wilson. So I'm pretty happy with the deal. So anyway, and yes, David Montgomery did not practice again today. It's not looking like he's going to be able to go. Let me go through the injury report. So DeAndre Hopkins is listed as questionable. All right, so he's questionable. Didn't practice at all this week. So listen, he didn't do that last week as well, and he played. So again, it's almost like a carbon copy with Keenan Allen. Aging wide receivers, when they hit that age of 30, and I'm sorry I'm keep beating a dead horse with this, but I'm trying to reaffirm this for next year for you guys. Don't invest in receivers that are age 30 and older. Just don't do it. All right. It's just not worth it. So Keenan Allen last year, injury mess. Now he's been good so far this year, knock on wood, but DeAndre Hopkins has already been banged up. He's been banged up pretty much all year. So, he's listed as questionable. He'll probably play, but this Titans offense, I really don't want any part of this Titans offense, including Derrick Henry. I have a huge Buffalo fan in my league. He wants Cook for me. I'm thinking offering Cook and Garrett Wilson for Chase. Hey, listen, I would offer that. Absolutely. Buy low on Jamar Chase. No doubt about it. If he accepts that, great. And that's another key, guys. Always find out the fans of your league, because sometimes you get these irrational fans. Like in my work league, there's an Eagles fan. She took Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So always find out where the allegiance is. And listen, I'm just as guilty of that. I have Darren Waller in both of my leagues, so I get it. So I think that that's a good way to try to get guys that you want. Would you trade Garrett Wilson for Puka? That I wouldn't do that, because Cooper Kupp is coming back. So he's going to travel with the team. Indications are he should be back by week 5. And Puka's just, his numbers are going to go down. That's just a fact. All right. And he's already banged up. So, you wonder, from the small school BYU, didn't take a lot of hits in college. So is his body going to hold up the rest of the season? I think Garrett Wilson is still the better long-term play. Would you do Breece Hall for Jonathan Taylor? I might do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to get suspended. I think it's only a matter of time till he gets suspended. Good move, Wilson, been a sale higher. Yeah, so I also capitalized on the fact, listen, his first 2 weeks were good because he scored touchdowns, Field to Trevor Lawrence. Oh, God, Trevor Lawrence, 100%. I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence fan. All right, so let me do this again. Now, let me pull up the actual. So getting back to Kendre Miller, I think he's intriguing this week for sure, because there's literally nobody left. We just found out about the not surprising news that Jamal Williams is out. No fracture in Deebo Samuel's rib, so if you're a Samuel owner, you're good there. That guy's always banged up too. Deebo Samuel is so talented, it's scary, but he can't ever stay healthy either. What's good, boss? Hey, baby Santa, would you trade Mike Evans for Kupp in a half PPR league? Oh man. Mike Evans has been really good, and I have him in one league. He's been really good. Other receivers are Godwin. You have Godwin. Okay, now I see what you're doing. Mike Williams and Kirk. I think I might do that. Wait a week though, just to see if Cooper Kupp is in fact going to be back for week 5. But you don't want to have Godwin and Evans, so I see that. All right, we have a $4.99 super chat from Prince Koopa Kuba. Love the name, Mr. Boss. Who would you start in the flex? Madison, Michael Thomas, Christian Watson, or Jerome Ford? Jerome Ford has a really tough matchup. Madison has been garbage all year. I'm starting Michael Thomas. Okay, so Jair Alexander, Green Bay All-Pro cornerback, one of the best shutdown corners in the league, is going to shadow Chris Olave. So, Prince, that means Michael Thomas is going to be open all over the place. All right, so Michael Thomas is the easy call for me there. Thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Josh Kelly or Ford? I'm going Kelly, TJ, for the reasons why I just said. Ford has a really tough matchup this week. So I would be very careful there. Who would you trade between Ford and Swift? I would trade Ford because I think, A, I don't know if he can hold up, and B, Kareem Hunt, he will start getting some work. Can you believe a league member dropped Jahmyr Gibbs for Kareem Hunt? That I didn't think that would be allowed. I know in Yahoo that you can't drop certain players, so I'm shocked by that. All right, so Jalen Waddle, this just came down. Limited participant today, will be questionable for Sunday. He has not cleared concussion protocol. So Jalen Waddle, his status is up in the air. So Anthony Richardson is out this week. So I told you the beginning of the week he was not going to be in the lineup this week. I just knew it wasn't going to happen. That is absolutely insane, Justin. I agree with you. So they're not going to put Anthony Richardson in harm's way. Now, listen, like I said, I've been wrong about Anthony Richardson. He's been really good, but I'm concerned about him physically. He's been beat up already. We're only 2 weeks into the season. He's already missing games. St. Brown. I know I'm trying to get some good mojo because I have him in one league and I need him to start. It looks like he will. I'm concerned about him holding up physically. And this is the same thing with Justin Fields. These guys, when they run a lot, Lamar Jackson last year and the year before missed time as well. So you have to be careful with that. All right. So Odell Beckham and Justice Hill are out. So Gus Edwards is actually a really good play this week. Few people realize this. Gus Edwards averages over 5 yards per carry for his career, which is tremendous. He is a really good runner. All right. I don't know what's going on at Rutgers. They produced Gus Edwards. They produced Isaiah Pacheco. They know how to produce running backs in that school. And they don't really do much of anything else. So, that to me, I think that Gus Edwards absolutely is a top flex this week. You sold on Jaylen Warren over Najee Harris. Yes. And they're playing the Raiders. I said it on the stream yesterday, the Raiders give up, I believe, the most receptions to running back the last year plus. Judy or Collins 100%. I'm starting Nico. It's not even a question. I'm starting Nico Collins every week from here on out. CJ Stroud, guys, I've been telling you all summer, even in my draft guide, I put it in print. CJ Stroud absolutely is the real deal. How do you feel? And listen, he is a gunslinger, CJ Stroud. You talk about, Brett Favre, Josh Allen. The next one is CJ Stroud. How do you feel about me trading away Christian Watson and Herbert for Jahmyr Gibbs? I like it. Khalil Herbert is not going to be a thing in like another month. Kelsey over under 19.5 points PPR. They're playing the Bears. I'm going to say that's an interesting number. See, I'm afraid they're going to jump out so quickly on them that they're not going to have to throw. I say over slightly. Nico Collins or Breece Hall Collins. Nico Collins is in my lineup, and I don't have him, but if he was, he's in my lineup every single week the rest of the season. DeAndre Hopkins traveling with the team, so he should be able to play. Christian Watson, and I'm going to try to get him ready for next week. Listen, this is I use this term a lot, last stand time. It was last stand time for Rashad White in week 2 already, and he balled out and saved his job for now. It was last stand time for Ryan Tannehill last week. He saved his job. It's last stand time now for Alexander Madison this week because Cam Akers is breathing down his neck. Should I trade Pollard for Bijan? No. Bijan Robinson is the number one player in. If I was drafting tomorrow, and this is a guy who takes who fades running backs in round 1, and I had the top pick, I'm taking Bijan Robinson. That's how high I am on him. All right. No issues with Dawson Knox. He's good to go. So Kadarius Toney back on the field today. It doesn't matter. You're not using Kadarius Toney enough with this guy. Like I'm completely over it with him. Boston Scott is back. So is Kenneth Gainwell. I think Baker's going to perform against the Eagles. My opponent has Burrow and is starting him because of the calf injury. I have Lawrence, but his last game is tough. I'm not worried about Trevor Lawrence. I'm not worried about him at all. Baker Mayfield against the Eagles is going to be tough. They have 2 shutdown corners that do arguably the best duo in the NFL. So it's going to be very tough sledding for Baker Mayfield plus that pass rush. I know last week was disappointing, but I do not doubt Trevor Lawrence at all. I have Pollard and my fantasy team has Bijan. No, hold on to Bijan. Do not trade Bijan Robinson under any circumstances. Ford or Miles Sanders. I know Sanders is banged up. You're going to have to watch that. I think Chuba Hubbard's going to get a lot of targets in this game. I lean Sanders just because of Ford's matchup is really tough. Now, Kareem Hunt is going to play. He already knows the system, so probably not a lot. Who would you drop for bench space? Tyler Algier, Jordan Love, Breece Hall, Roscoe Johnson, not Roscoe Johnson. I would drop Jordan Love. You don't need a backup quarterback if you're in a single quarterback league. You can just find somebody off the waiver wire. Jacoby Myers good to go. So Jacoby Myers, this is what I'm really interested in seeing. So, they're playing Pittsburgh. He had a huge week 1 at the expense of Davante Adams. Adams was good in week 2 because Myers was out. I've said Myers is a better fit with Jimmy Garoppolo than is Davante Adams. So I'm really curious to see if Myers leads the Raiders in receiving. If he does again in week 3, this is trouble for Davante Adams. And if you're the Adams owner, if Myers outproduces Adams this week, you might want to start offering Davante Adams around the league, before this becomes a trend. Eckler out, yes. No surprise. Been saying that all week. He was not going to play. Debo at 25 for me last night. Yeah, Rain. Really good game for Debo. Not surprised. All right, Logan Thomas, concussion ruled out. So that's pretty much all right, so Bryce Young, 1 to 2 weeks. But like I said to you yesterday, Andy Dalton, this is a good thing. If you're an owner of Adam Thielen, if you're an owner of Hayden Hurst, I think Andy Dalton is much more accomplished a passer than is Bryce Young, at least at this point. I still think the ceiling is very high on Bryce Young, but so far it's been rough, and I think he's kind of learning on the fly there, like most rookies. You watch C.J. Stroud, you watch Anthony Richardson really come out and kind of light things up. Bryce Young hasn't done that, so. Carolina can't be too pleased to see that so far. But again, it's very early in the season. Would Jared Goff be a better play over Field? Yes. Jared Goff was one of my to the moon picks. Brian, don't stop. I had him yesterday to the moon. He's taking on Atlanta. Is Garrett Wilson startable? Yes. You got to start him no matter what, just because he's so talented. I have Warren, Ford, Watson, and Jigba. No, you're not playing in Jigba. Definitely. You have Warren. He's still not. I still would start Wilson for another week. Start Tank or DJ Moore. That's a tough one. I would probably have to say DJ Moore because there's going to be a lot of garbage time points. I think they're going to fall behind big time early, and they're going to have to throw. Tank Bigsby. You're not really doing anything with him. All right, drop Tyjae Spears or JSM for Kelly. I would drop JSM because, again, you want to have these handcuff running backs, these top handcuff running backs, which Tyjae Spears is. Tank Dell, right. Oh, geez, I'm sorry, man. I like Tank Dell. I would go him. I would definitely go Tank Dell. Listen, the Texans passing attack has been really good, and it has come at the expense of Dameon Pierce, who's being left behind so far, and he's not even playing half of the snaps, which is concerning. All right, let me pull up the betting lines because I want to give you guys my picks of the week. Let me write this down so I don't forget. So last week was rough, 1-3-1. So on the season, I'm 4-5. Gonna aim to do better this week. Should I trade T. Higgins and Derrick Henry for CD? That's a lot. You have Mostert, Montgomery, Gainwell, Javonte, and Ford. That's not terrible, though. I have Puka, Ridley, Kupp, and Addis. I still think that's a lot. Try to get something with CD. That's a little too pricey for me. I would say no to that deal. Rejected lose by 66%. So Tank is going to gamble, might save me. You can't buy any of that stuff, that Yahoo, percentage. All right. Let's look at some betting lines here. So the Chargers getting 1.5. I mean, one of these teams is going to be 0-3. Like Vikings or Chargers. One of these teams is going to be 0-3. Like, I can't even believe it. They're so talented, both of them. Man, I can't see Minnesota losing this game at home. I like the Vikings giving one. That one's kind of jumped out at me all week. They're the much better coach team as well. So I'm taking the Vikings -1 to the Chargers. Cleveland, Tennessee. What's the over-under on this game? I want to look at the over-under. I'm not a big fan of that line itself. Houston, Jacksonville, 8.5. I actually like the Texans getting 8.5 in this one. They have a passing attack that's been working. I think that they're going to be able to hang tough with the Jaguars. They've played them tough in the past. So I do like the Texans. I was looking at that one today. I like the Texans plus 8.5. I like the Dolphins giving 6.5 to the Denver Broncos. I think the Denver Broncos are just a bad team. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of the Broncos at all. I think things are starting to spiral already. So I do like the Dolphins giving 6.5. T-Law Stroud is a starter for this week or rest of season. T-Law this week and rest of season. Josh Allen or Cousins, not even a question. Josh Allen. Although I have to say this is a good matchup for Kirk Cousins, but the rushing floor gives Josh Allen the edge there, and they're playing the Commanders. That's not a good defense. All right, so I gave you 3 picks already. Let me see some of these. The Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to stay away from that game. That's a little radioactive for me. I don't like going home underdogs, so I don't like Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh and the Raiders. Pittsburgh I've gotten wrong every chance this year. Chicago Bears are getting 12.5. Wow. I mean, that's a crazy spread right there. Dallas, 12.5. I like Dallas giving the 12.5 to Arizona. I have to make that one as well. Seattle, Carolina. I think Andy Dalton's going to keep this close. I'm taking the 5.5 there. That was the other one I was looking at. Indianapolis, Baltimore. You know what? Forget the Carolina pick. I like Indianapolis plus 8.5. All right. So the picks for this week, and I did that this morning. I like the Vikings giving 1 to the Chargers. I like the Texans getting 8.5 against the Jaguars. I like the Dolphins giving 6.5 to the Broncos. I like the Colts getting 8.5 from the Ravens, and I like Dallas giving 12.5 to the Cardinals. Picks for week 3. All right. And thank you, Delagizi. I really appreciate it. And since you're new to the channel, we have streams pretty much almost every day, live streams like this. Sundays, instant injury videos throughout the day. Anytime a player gets injured on a Sunday, I have instant analysis probably a minute or so after the injury happens, and then I update it throughout the rest of the day. Live stream Sunday morning, 11:30 Eastern time for the injury report, and then again to wrap things all up at night. And of course, Football Friday, on Friday. So thank you for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate that. Eckler ruled out. Yeah, Eckler's out. I mean, again, that was the workload on that guy the last 2 years just scared the hell out of me. And I'm not surprised that he's already banged up. Right, my starting lineup: Justin Fields. No, I don't like that. Bijan, Gibbs, fine. Jefferson, Olave, fantastic. Hunter Henry's been really good. Ridley, Bass, Saints, everything but the quarterback looks good to me. They're going to fall behind so early against the Chiefs, and then they're just going to go to town on him. It's Justin Fields, who's already bitching his way through the season. Drop JSN for Kelly. And listen, I like JSN, but he's, there's just too many alpha guys ahead of him for him to really do much. And Kelly's got a really good matchup. All right, so JSN is going to house a huge elusive touchdown. Yeah, listen, whenever you drop guys, that means they're going to go off, right? Start 2 wide receivers, standard. All right, Mark. Amon-Ra, Kirk, Godwin, Elijah Moore, or pick up Tank Dell on waivers. I would pick up Tank Dell on waivers and start him with Amon-Ra St. Brown. That game, there's going to be a lot of fireworks in that game. Like I said, the Texans are legit in terms of passing the ball. They have the weapons. Tank Dell is really good. He's a small guy, but he has game-breaking speed. He did nothing but produce in college, and he's now doing that in the NFL. Replacing Fields for Goff, 100%. Goff at home always throws well. All right, he always has good games at home, and they're taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Godwin for Rachaad White. I guess I'm not a fan of either one of those guys. You know, I used to love Godwin. Anybody who's been with me for a few years knows I love Godwin when he was with Tom Brady. But with Mayfield seems to have a better thing going with Mike Evans. What to do with Fields? You got to bench him. You got to bench him for now. You know, we all had visions of, 1,000-yard rushing season and, 20 touchdowns through the air, especially if they brought in DJ Moore. It's just not working. You know, he just is not a good thrower of the football. That's it. I love Tank, but nervous of Nico, Noah, and Woods. A lot of mouths to feed. I wouldn't. He played 80% of the snaps last week. Rachaad White for Higgins. If you got to offer T. Higgins for Rachaad White, I would get off the stream right now, Ed, and accept that before he pulls it. Now, if you have Higgins, no, I would not make that deal. I'm not a Rachaad White guy. I already unloaded him. I did draft him in one of my leagues because I was going all value at running back. I already unloaded him. In that deal for Mike Evans. So I don't miss him at all, even though he was fairly solid last week. So anyway, as far now, since we're doing the stream today, I'm not going to be doing a stream tomorrow. Here on the East Coast, we're supposed to get like insane amounts of rain. There's a tropical storm, Ophelia, whatever the name is, that's hitting North Carolina now. It's supposed to ride up the coast. It's supposed to rain here on Sunday as well. Jets, Patriots, and the Ravens game as well. Going to be a little dicey in terms of weather. So we might have to keep an eye out there, for some ill weather there. Mike Williams and Nico Collins, Kelly, Breece Hall need to for flex in PPR. Mike Williams for sure in that kind of game against Minnesota. And I would say Nico Collins. I like Collins and Williams there. I want Stephon Diggs. I'm offering Ridley and Gibbs. Good deal. Fair. He'll think about that deal. How long should I keep Goff as a starter? Someone might scoop up Jordan Love or waivers. But Jordan Love has been very touchdown dependent. His numbers are really the yardage, the completion percentage are not great. So he's been very touchdown dependent, and that's usually very risky. I'm not a real fan of his. I mean, I like him, but in fantasy, in your situation, I would let him go. Seriously, want to drop Pitts for Ferguson? Maybe not for Kincaid, but Ferguson possibly, yeah. You got to ignore the name brand. Roscoe Johnson or Pierce. Wow. I would still say Pierce because Herbert's still going to get the start. I think by next week, though, Roscoe Johnson could be the guy. I think the Bears are going to get their doors absolutely blown off. Now, that could get Johnson on the field for some garbage time receptions. That did happen in week 1, right, against Green Bay. So it's close. Listen, if you want to roll the dice, throw Roscoe Johnson out there. Dameon Pierce, less of a path for has less competition at least. Although he's playing less than half his snaps. You know what, Polensky, it sounds like I'm just not giving you an answer here. The more I think about it, the more I say just put Roscoe Johnson in because they're going to have to throw a lot in the second half and he'll be out there. Seriously, your coach said Roscoe could rise as primary. Yeah, I like Roscoe a lot. Defense I like this week. So I do like the Eagles defense for sure. Buffalo against the Commanders. I like the Chiefs defense against the Bears. Chiefs is somebody I definitely would stream. The Rams I would stream if Burrow is out, so keep your eye on that. Jacksonville is not an automatic start because, like I said, they're throwing the ball well in Houston. Even, Miami's defense isn't great. Detroit Lions defense against Atlanta. Desmond Ridder is not great, as we all know. Hi, boss. Germany here again. Oh, yes. Hi, Tomas. How are you? 14-team PPR league. Should we stash Kenyon Drake in a really running back needy league? No, definitely not. He's not a thing. He's not even worth, picking up. A lot would have to happen for that to happen. By the way, what time is it in Germany right now? I'm just curious. I got some super chats for you, but I'm driving and do another video before Sunday. Oh, you don't have to do that, but thank you, Plumsky. Yes, Sunday at 11:30 a.m., 100%. I'm doing another stream, so I will definitely be on for that. But thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, wow. All right, so what is that? In that's military hours, right? So 24. So I'm not good at math. So 10 something, right? Worth stash Stroud or love Stroud? I would stash Stroud. That's a lot of S's. I would stash Stroud. Yeah, 10 p.m. Okay, that's late. That's usually my bedtime. And you know what? Tomorrow, like, I'm going to be watching college football all day. It's going to pour. Like, my wife, I already told her, I'm watching college football all day tomorrow. And she's really good like that. Like, I married a good one. When I first met her, I said, listen, football is like a huge thing for me in the fall, whether I'm watching it or whether I'm coaching it. And, she knows that that's the deal. And she's always been really supportive of that. So I really did well. But here, guys, this is one thing that has always worked for me. And I have 2 kids. And this is what you have to do with the wife. Sunday morning, right? NFL Sunday morning, you get up with the kids, right? Let her sleep in. Make the kids breakfast. Vacuum the floor. Scrub the toilet. Get lunch ready for the kids too. Hell, even take out something for dinner. Like if you got to thaw some chicken or steak or whatnot, get all of that shit done. So that way by 1 o'clock, okay, you've been hustling since, 6, 7 in the morning. You did a lot, built up a lot of goodwill, and then you're kind of good to go, for the rest of the day. And then if they need a bath after the games are over at like 7:30, then you kind of jump back in and do that because she's probably tired. And then you put them in the bed and you're good. However, when my kids were really little, and they're 14 and 11 now, but it was either college football on Saturday or NFL Sunday. So, NFL Sunday was the day I was, more or less not allowed, whatever you want to call it, to watch football all day. When you have little kids, you can't do it Saturday and Sunday. Kirk Cousins or Herbert, that's tough. I would say Cousins because the way you beat the Vikings is on the ground, so maybe a lot of Joshua Kelly. So I would say Cousins, and he's home. Started CMC last night, but getting nervous over running back 2 in flex. Options are Algier, Pierce, Craig Reynolds, or Herbert. Not great options. Oh, man. I guess maybe Algier. And I don't like any of those guys, Mark. I do that already. Have a good one as well. Married 17 years. Yes, Ed, I just had my 17-year anniversary as well. So, and listen, I mean, married, it's, I'm not trying to say it's all, sunshine and roses and all that other stuff. I mean, everybody, every marriage has issues, but overall she's been really good with that. That's what you got to do, Polumsky. How many leagues you in right now? What's your record? Currently 2 leagues, 2-0 in both. I only do 2 leagues. So I'm not one of these crazy, 10, 12 leagues. I just can't do it. I can't be rooting for the entire NFL. So I have 2 leagues, sometimes 3, but I have a friends and family league and a work league that I've been in for like 10 plus years. So, my friends and family league, we've been doing it for about, I think this is year like 17. And I have the most championships. I have 5 in 17 years. The next highest person has 3. My work league, which started a couple of years ago, no championships. Actually, this is only the second year of my work league. So I was knocked out in the second round of the playoffs last year. And I'm 2-0 in both. Bijan for Calvin and Ridley and Gibbs. That's a lot. I love Bijan. I love Calvin Ridley too. A little pricey, but it's fair both ways. So I don't know which, if you're getting which side you're getting, but it's fair both ways. July 2006. Oh, okay. Yeah. September 2006. Congratulations to you too, Ed. Mine was just last week. I know it's crazy, but I need to start maybe 2 of these players. Who should I start? Warren. I would start Warren. I told you guys yesterday, Raiders give up a lot of receptions. Pierce, Roscoe, Craig Reynolds. I would start Warren and Roscoe. Bears are going to have to throw in the second half. They did this week 1. They put Roscoe Johnson out there in the second half in a blowout game, and he went nuts. And I think that could happen again. And definitely Jaylen Warren because he's going to catch at least 5 passes in this game. All right. So that's what I would say with those 2 guys. All right. Thank you, boss. Thank you, Tomas. I appreciate you finding us in Germany. So my pleasure. So anyway, Shaheed or Jalen Reed. Tough one. I would say Jalen Reed. He was good last week. So I would say Jalen Reed. But neither one of them are really excited. I know Shaheed is done okay, but he's still 3rd in that hierarchy. But Jalen Reed was good last week for sure. I think he's worth the stash, and he kind of reminds me of Tank Dell. The kind of game that they possess. All right, so guys, I'm going to end it here. Like I said, short stream today, Football Friday. Enjoy your Fridays. I'm going to head to my game now. We're 2-0 in my high school team as well, so hopefully we win tonight. We should. So Sunday, remember, 11:30 Eastern Time stream, instant injury analysis videos all day. Enjoy your Friday, guys. Enjoy tomorrow, and I will talk to you all then. All right, so take care, guys.